Hello, welcome to this week's podcast.
Hello.
Well, it's not, yeah, it is this week, but actually we're fortnightly now, aren't we?
Welcome to this fortnightly podcast.
This fortnightly podcast, yeah. So I'm Jan, in case you didn't know, and you are...
I don't know.
You don't know today again?
I'm Sharona.
Sharon.
That's because people have been watching Monk on Netflix, and he's first assistant.
Oh yes, assistant. Yeah, is it Sharona?
It is Sharona.
Yeah,
so,
I've forgotten her name. Yeah, I can hear him saying it now.
Sharona. Yeah.
Talking about Monk, by the way, in case any of you don't know what we're talking about. We both like Monk.
It's a detective series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Sharon. I think.
Okay. We're going to be covering something that I read on Facebook recently, and I screenshotted the comments. Is that a word? Screenshotted?
It is now.
It is now, yeah. And
it's not screenshot, is it?
It's not screenshot, no.
Screenshot.
So it just prompted my thoughts.
Yes.
And I just thought it'd be quite a good thing to discuss, and it's talking about, it's about being turned 60, basically, isn't it? So we thought we'd discuss some of the things that they've mentioned. I can't remember if it's a lady or a man that said it, but that's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I just wanted to touch on some of the comments that come from the last podcast where we were talking about, was it English idioms? I think it was English idioms.
Yes.
And there's lots of things that come up on that. And one was about saying once in a blue moon. And we said we didn't know what is a blue moon.
Exactly what a blue moon was,
Renee said blue moon is the second full moon in a lunar month. Now, so I never knew that.
So does that mean it happens every fortnight?
It looks like it.
It's not that rare then, is it?
Unless that is when it will appear. I don't know. If you know any more about that, Renee, explain. That's all she said. And we were also talking about saving for a rainy day.
Yes.
And Bronwyn Anderson, a couple of people actually said, because we said where did that come from and what does it actually mean? Mm-hmm. And Bronwyn said saving for a rainy day. She said just always known it to be saving for bad times, which I think is what we said.
Yes.
And so Tina Stock said again saving up for when things go wrong. So I think that's more or less what we thought, but you always need to check these things.
Yes, I wonder if it goes back to agricultural times where rainy weather would have meant your crop failed or it was difficult to harvest your crop.
Do you know, that's a good point, because when you think about here in France, it's the only farmers we really know of.
Yes.
And if they have a bad crop of like apples and things like that, or they lose their apples for some other reason,
or wheat,
you end up with, because they say they must have a certain amount of savings in case it goes wrong. But I remember a few years ago there was so many suicides where farmers had lost everything and then they couldn't provide for their family. Yeah. So so it just made me think of that.
It might have started as save for a rainy season, and then over time it's changed. This is the sort of thing Susie Dent tells me.
Yeah,
of course.
Your friend Susie Dent.
Yeah, we're best friends.
Yeah. Bronwyn said she enjoys the podcast and thanks us for those.
Oh, thanks, Bronwyn.
One thing that she was saying is saying that her parents used to say was keep your hand on your halfpenny.
Keep your hand on your halfpenny.
Was you ever told that by your parents?
I don't think I was.
Yeah, I think I was. Well, I was, but I don't think it was said to me, because my dad probably wouldn't even want to suggest going down that route, sex and things like that. He's probably said it to somebody else, and I've heard him say it. But yeah, keep your hand on your halfpenny. In other words, keep your hand on your private parts.
And don't let anybody else's hand be on your private parts.
Yeah. Yes. So it just made me laugh, because that brought back a memory of my dad again.
Can I share one of my favourite Susie Dent words then?
Yeah, go on then.
Furky doodling.
Oh, I've not heard of that one, I don't think.
Which is a bit of a fiddle and a fumble, bit of foreplay, but nothing else.
Right.
So it doesn't lead to full sex or anything. So it's a bit of a furky doodle.
Isn't that what they call, I don't think that makes any difference. When you're falling around, or does that, it's just when they say, because Americans say it a lot, don't they, when you're falling around, does that include everything?
No, I don't know. It could be just a furky doodle.
Could be, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Making out's the other one, isn't
Making
it?
out,
Now, does making out mean kissing?
I always, because it's quite often in teen films, I always thought making out was, kissing a fumble.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
So they're doing the
They're furky doodling.
doodling.
Yeah, they are furky doodling.
And also Kelly, who's got a YouTube channel called Garden Discovery,
I must get myself on that.
She commented and said that to tell Sharon that she'd had a dream about bacon growing on vines in the garden.
Oh, how fantastic!
Can you imagine it?
That'd be great, wouldn't
Especially if you've got chickens as well. You go out and get your eggs, and I'll just have a bit of bacon while I'm here.
That was another expression I learned from Susie Dent this week. Was another word for comfort eating.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when you're maybe feeling down and you're comfort eating, and it's called grief bacon.
Grief bacon?
Yeah, that's that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I love the idea of a bacon tree. We struggle to get what we would consider English bacon here sometimes, don't we?
The alternatives, I think it's good enough.
Yes, it depends how pure you need your bacon to be.
And also, I'd say how thick you want your rashers to be, because the bacon tends to be very thin here, doesn't it? So if you like crispy bacon, it's easy to get that here.
Right, I'm looking
Are you looking for Garden Discovery?
Yes.
There you go.
Is it this one?
Actually, I thought, has she changed her thumbnail? But anyway,
Oh, right,
she
okay.
might. But she's a very nice, attractive lady with bob hair.
It looks like it's that one.
Yeah, probably.
So, Kelly, I'll be in there.
There you go.
Guys, it's Kelly at Garden Discovery. I'm here at
That's
Navarro's.
her.
Right, okay.
This is the same Kelly who said that we were joking with, sort of saying she always has to put makeup on. She can't be in a video without her makeup on. And I was saying about people. You take me for what I am.
We don't bother, do
That's
we?
it. We do not bother.
Right, Kelly, I'm going to have a watch. My garden needs a lot of discovery.
That's
It
a good
needs
point.
needs
Maybe
an
you'll be able to
update.
get some tips off of Kelly. Sorry, I've had some dairy and it's making me Qatari.
I'm going to hit you on the back in a minute.
Okay, so on to what? Oh no, hang on, no. We haven't
No.
found out this week. At least I had one dream.
Well, it's interesting that I've been tired in the last couple of weeks. I went on a mad scurry funge, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Because I had some friends coming over from the UK and they hadn't been over here for 5 years, I think it was.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, and I was a bit anxious about it. I don't know why. I've known them
We
since
kept telling her that we didn't know why, because they wouldn't care. They're coming to see Sharon.
I know.
Yeah.
But I've known these women since I was 11 years old, so I've known them for 50 years.
Yeah.
And
did they come in and say, "Oh, how clean and tidy this is"?
no.
Well, there you go.
They
See?
said how lovely the house was and they liked all my updates since they came last, but they didn't care if there was dust on the surface.
No.
So I went a bit mad having a spring clean, and it did need it.
On the positive side, it's
done and it's
done.
nice, and I'm trying to keep it that way now.
Good. But I am
another
worried
story.
because she said the other day you haven't been to mine for a coffee since it's been tidy.
Yes.
So she wants me to see before it all goes to rack and
Before
ruin
it all
again.
deteriorates. Anyway, so I made myself very tired, and then obviously while they were here, we sat up late talking. So anyway, so it's been a bit of a recovery week. Hence, I've been sleeping really heavily, so
Alright.
I've not been waking up in the night, which is when I tend to most remember my dreams.
So you've not had as many dreams?
No, but I had a couple last night.
Mm.
I don't know why, but I did wake up a lot last night. I did wet the bed.
Really wet the bed?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish that we were on YouTube because
My
Jan's
face, I went, what?
But I woke
But at the same time thinking, bless.
I woke up and I remember it being on the sheet that I've got on my bed at the moment, because it's like a grey flannelly kind of sheet, so it's not your normal sheet, and that's the one I wet.
Oh, right.
And I was laying there when I woke up thinking, have I? Did I? And I'm thinking,
got you feeling around.
yeah, it's not wet or warm. I don't think I did. So no, I didn't. But then the other dream, there were loads of us from a work situation, and we'd more or less broken into a colleague's house. So we decided that we could have a bit of a party before they arrived home.
Okay.
So we just took over their house, and there was champagne and there was nibbles, and it was all over the floor. And I'm thinking, we're never going to get this tidy before they come back.
Yeah.
But anyway, a guy I used to work with, won't mean anything to anybody else, he stayed in the bath to the very last minute. He was no use whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then but Bernadette was there, who's a friend of ours in France.
Yeah.
And it was Bernadette that started cleaning up and hoovering, waiting for this colleague to come back.
And that,
I woke up before they came home, so I can't tell you what may or may not have happened. But yeah, we just broke into their house and thought party time. Weird.
So yeah, and obviously it's been a fortnight since the last podcast. I'm just trying to think. Obviously you've had your friends stay, but what have I done?
You've had people in the sheet.
Oh yes, we did have some French people in the Gite, and they were here just for a long weekend. They were here for a competition of some sort. We didn't see them at all, but they left the place absolutely immaculate.
Wow.
And I went in yesterday to prepare for this weekend's guests. They're coming for, and I keep wanting to say the word and it won't leave my mouth. It's the walk where you walk through France and Spain. What is it called? Where they do this religious...
It's like a religious pilgrimage,
That's
isn't
it, it's like a pilgrimage walk, yes. That is, I think, is what they're here for. They said they're going to be walking, wherever they are at the moment, walking to Le Mans, and then from Le Mans their friends are picking them up and then bringing them to us, and then they're with us for 3 nights. Again, I doubt very much if we'll see them, because when it's over the weekend, they're usually busy and we're usually busy.
This is it, and this is the one my friend Natalie wanted to do as well. It's the Camino de Santiago.
Quite possibly. It means
so,
nothing to me, but I do know of it.
It starts in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, and it goes through the Pyrenees, and it stretches 270 miles between France and Spain.
That's a lot of walking, isn't
That is
it?
a bloody lot of walking.
I mean, there's probably the real hardy people out there that would do that really quickly or in a few days, but I would make the holiday of it.
Yeah,
which is probably what they're doing.
A holy walk.
Yeah,
Camino France actually means the French way, and I think Santiago is a saint somebody in Spain. So
yeah, I love the idea of it, but it must be very tiring. So that's why you'd have to me especially, think you'd have to stop and do what they're doing, have a holiday at each spot or something.
Yes, and I presume some people just do a section of it.
Oh, possibly, yeah. Maybe they're not doing the whole thing.
It's like the Great Wall of China. People walk, and my friend Natalie's done a bit of that.
I tell you, a good idea is to do one part in one holiday and the next holiday pick up where they left off.
Yes, definitely.
I like the idea of that.
So, find out some more from them if you can.
Yeah,
I'm interested
if I can,
in that.
yeah. Okay, so let's get on to this week's subject, because I can't think of anything else I've done. Collected foam and material from our friends to make the cushions for their retro chairs they've got in their house. That's Frank and David, some of you may remember in one of the interview videos. I haven't started on it yet. I'm sitting here now looking at it thinking I must start that. So yeah, other than that I've just been doing a bit of sewing and
are you going to show the cushion making?
I might do a video on it. It's not the most exciting, but you know.
But I think people are interested in that because people do like to recover old furniture and repurpose things.
The only thing I ever worry about is that I might not be doing it the professional way.
It doesn't matter,
but it still comes out all right in the end.
It doesn't matter because you don't profess to be a professional.
No,
do
I don't.
You? So.
I don't. Definitely don't, because I don't want people to have too higher expectations. Other than that, we did go to a Vide Grenier last weekend, and I bought 2 men's shirts because I really liked the. And it wasn't Vide Grenier, it was, we did do Vide Grenier, but where I got these shirts was at an Emmaus sale, like the charity thing. They were doing a bigger sale to raise money for somewhere in West Africa. I can't remember the name of it. And I've got these 2 shirts.
They're called a braderie, aren't they?
They're braderie here,
I don't
it's
know why
weird.
They're called braderie.
Well, braderie is normally when the shops bring their sale items out onto the streets.
Yes.
But Emmaus, being a charity already, I couldn't really make out why they were having a braderie as such, because all they were doing was spreading their their stuff out. But yeah, I got one shirt that was brand new and had tags on, and another one was just really in good condition, and Duncan bought a nice shirt for the summer as well, even though it doesn't really need any, but it was nice. So, and plus we wanted to give some money for the charity.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we bought in the end was 3 shirts.
I've put it into Google Translate, Bradbury, and it comes up as clearance sale.
Oh,
So
well,
that
there you
makes
go.
sense,
That does
doesn't
make
it?
sense. Everywhere else would call it a clearance. Yeah.
Yeah.
That speak English anyway.
Yeah, so that's what Bradbury
So
is.
that's why Emmaus. That makes sense for Emmaus.
Yes, clearance sale.
So yeah. So other than that, we went to Big Greniers, but we didn't. Oh, we
You
bought
had
we
your,
bought plants. Got
Oh,
some,
right.
Got
Yes.
some tomatoes, some celeriac, some
Onions.
onions. I
Yeah,
think
you
that's what we got, and they were
planted
quite
those, haven't you?
cheap. And while we were there, bumped into the Pethricks, Billy Ernest, I always forget the little one's name, and Sherry and Sadie.
Right.
They were all there having a
Yeah,
wander around, which we
yeah.
expected to because it was in Ernay.
Yes, it's near.
So-
I forgot you had your dirty weekend in Laval as well.
Yes, I suppose you could call it a dirty weekend. We went to Laval just for one night and have a nice wander around Laval. And there's a video coming up of we went to a really lovely garden which we've been promising ourselves to go to for ages, and it was really nice, and just happened to be a wedding happening in the garden while we were there, so that was
Lovely.
nice.
And it was to
So,
celebrate your wedding anniversary.
It was for our wedding anniversary, yes. So it's only been 6 years. We don't really celebrate that as much as we do the day we met, because that was like 21 years ago, 20 years ago that we met. So no,
Yeah.
20s,
What year?
97. So it was
97.
Yeah, we met in 1997. So that was
3,
quick maths here.
24. That's 27 years.
So 27. Yeah, is it 27?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So
Wow.
that's more of a celebration, really. But
So,
to
yeah.
me, it was any excuse to go away for the night.
Exactly,
So that's
why
what we
not?
did.
So yeah, 3 years time, it'll be 30 years.
Wow.
It's
See,
amazing.
that's more special than just 6 years marriage, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So-
That's a confirmation of your relationship, not
Yeah.
the beginning of your relationship. So, yeah.
Right, so on to the subject now.
Right.
This is someone put on something for those who are 60 years old and above. And he says, please read this.
Which we are.
So yes, this is what we're doing, and we just thought we'd have a read and see what we think about it. So between 60 and death, it says it's time to use the money you saved up. Use it and enjoy it. Don't just keep it for those who may have no notion of the sacrifices you made to get it. And remember, there is nothing more dangerous than a son or daughter-in-law with big ideas for your hard-earned capital. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because
Yes.
I expect in the back of the mind, I mean, I have to say, you do sometimes, especially financially, when you haven't got a lot of money, you do sort of think ahead. And we have mentioned that one day, you know, there's going to be a time when Duncan's parents' house will be sold, and you know that Duncan will inherit, and his sister will, and you sort of think. And it's like when my mum and dad died, they didn't have any money to leave
No.
when they went, really, although I think we all got about £3,000 out of it, which was a real bonus, and absolutely thrilled with it, because it meant I could buy things in their memory.
I haven't got a lot saved up. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have been able to buy a house in France outright, which is only because of the cheapness of houses in this area.
Exactly.
And I'm conscious that in the past I have had money and spent it, and then I've been without money. So what little money I've got left I always go like that. I don't know why. It's my little pot.
She's holding this little pot in her hand,
That's my little
supposedly.
Pot. It's my little pot of money, and it's not big. It's only a few thousand, but I feel as if I do need to hang on to that pot now, in case anything happens, because I don't have any parents left to die. So it's awful,
No.
but there is no more money coming my way.
But
is what
you're
I'm trying
hanging on
say.
to that. It's like this saving for a rainy day
It
type
is.
thing. It's not that you're hanging on to it so that your children can have it.
No, my children know they're not getting much. But then I like it that I'm also in a position where I can help them out, because, you know, young, especially...
Not rich, but comfortable enough that you can help them.
Yes, and I've lent my middle child some money when they moved up to Manchester, but they're paying that back to me. I gave my son, my oldest, a little bit of money when he bought his first property, his flat. So, and I did say to him, I've got other money I could lend to you, but I can't give you any more because I'm conscious that I need my little pot. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. I will help them out where I can. I would prefer to loan them money. One, I don't want them getting loans with high interest or using credit cards with high interest. So I'd rather they borrowed it from me. But I'm not in a position where I could just say, here's £5,000, you know.
No.
But and I'm also conscious that I've got 3 children. And I'm sure you feel the same, that you don't want to give more to one that you can't give to the others.
In some ways it's easier just to not do that, then there's no quibble over it. Did you ever borrow money off your parents?
I think I once borrowed some money off my father-in-law. No, not my father-in-law, my stepfather, sorry. But otherwise I don't think my parents ever had
No, well mine
for
didn't.
me to borrow.
I'd say I didn't really borrow. I mean, my parents, I suppose it's why I'm like it, they were never very, it's not generous isn't the word, they didn't have the money, but they also wouldn't jump to try and make sure they got the money to give me, but that stood me in good stead because it meant we just got on with it. My ex would never have borrowed money off them, and Duncan would never have borrowed money off them. No great amounts.
No,
and
no.
Only ever if it wasn't in the bank at the time and we needed something and then knew that we could pay them back immediately. That's the only thing we've ever done, and that's only been a few hundred or something. I remember when I divorced my ex and I left, and obviously I needed stuff because everything had been left behind. So my dad just gave me the money. He'll pay for my car. I had just a little run-around car. I needed, I think it was a bed, just some odd bits, at least I could start with in my new rented place. But obviously I said I'll pay it back, and he said, yeah, pay it back. But never ever asked me for it, and I did manage to, when he died, I did manage to give my mum some of it, and we found a little black book in amongst his stuff, and when we got to the back of the book, he'd written in really neat writing the things he'd bought for me and how much it cost. So I don't know whether he'd somewhere along the line intended on saying, look, you still owe me that, or whether it was, I don't know, it was a funny thing to find. It just made me smile because I thought, I've given Mum some of it, Dad, you know, but yeah, it was a bit awkward. So it's money's just a horrible subject, isn't it, really?
I've known friends who've got into arguments with when one of their parents has died, and then not left money equally between all the brothers and sisters. That was a big row. I know of other friends where the mum has money in the property and wants to give it to one child now and the other child's objecting. So money can have a very negative effect.
Yeah, and it can split families, can't it? That's
on relationships in families.
Because I think I can imagine their thinking was probably they gave more to the ones who needed it more. But is that the right thing to do, or would you make it equal? It's an awkward one, isn't it?
I think this one in particular I'm thinking of, I think she used it to be divisive. But she also gave it to the person that she thought had given her the most care at the end of her life. So she was rewarding one child for being there more than the others. Very difficult. Very difficult. And then...
Well, the point is, they've made that decision, and they probably think this is going to cause problems, but this is how I felt at the time.
The other children challenged it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they had to come to
but
an
did they have any grounds to challenge it if they never spoke to their mother or didn't do anything for their mother?
Yeah.
If it was me, I'd have been thinking, well, that's fair enough. They did do more than I did, you know. But yeah,
these are the problems it causes, isn't it? Unfortunately, my children's dad died. It was 3 years ago now, and he did have a little bit in an insurance policy, so they've had that, and they've done various things with it. and they'll probably get a small sum from me as well from the same kind of thing, and the house in France. So, and they can do what they like with that. I think the more money there is, the more dispute there's likely to be.
I mean, with us, all there is basically this house and the sheep. So it's sort of this, because I mean our policies and things are all just about to pay out, so there won't be anything on that, because we can't, don't feel we can afford to be paying into them still. The next one is it says, warning, this is also a bad time for investments. Even if it seems wonderful or foolproof, they only bring problems and worries. This is a time for you to enjoy some peace and quiet. I'd agree with that. What is the point in making investments now?
No.
Unless you're that well off, you can afford to invest for your children's future, maybe. If you're well enough, but just enough that you can put some. I suppose it's like, was it years ago? You used to buy premium bonds and things, and that.
Yes.
And
yes.
I mean, I'm still waiting for my mum and dad's to come up. They never did come up.
No.
So it's, although they might probably saw it as an investment, and something the kids might get that further down the line, we never did.
Well, the thing is, we hope we're going to have, another 20, 30, 40 years. We may not. And I'd rather enjoy now, maybe help my children to enjoy now, rather than leave more in the future.
But you're probably like, well, I'm assuming you're like us. We think that we need to enjoy it now. There's no point in it sitting in the bank.
No.
And so we're investing in our time now, not.
Yes.
Yes. What is
definitely.
the point if it's suddenly grown in the bank and we've gone? We're not getting anything out of it. Which is what we think about a lot of insurances and pensions and everything. What's the point? It's like recently I had mine come up and it says, if you died today, you get that. Thanks. Rub it in, why don't you?
As long as there's enough to bury me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thought, but.
And well, you don't like talking about these things.
No, I don't.
Do you?
I don't. But it's. But I mean, we had a friend die recently, and he didn't want a funeral or anything, so his family didn't even have any of that to pay at all.
No.
And that's a thought as well.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about the financial situation of your children and grandchildren, which is what we've just said. Don't feel bad spending money on yourself. Again, that's what we're saying. It's enjoy your money. What's the point in it? There's so many, and we've had friends that have had money sitting in the bank and then saying they haven't got any money, and that just makes us angry, because you think you just don't want to touch it.
Yes.
And Duncan's had clients where they'll be saying, "Oh, I'm down to my last 600,000." Oh, for goodness sake,
Yes.
if only.
You do begin to wonder what they're saving for. Is it just for the sake of it, or?
Some people just like to see it grow, don't they?
Yeah. I like having my little pot. Now I will save to spend. So I might save a little bit in order to have a big holiday or something like that. I'm not interested in growing it. Mind you, there's another rollover of the Euro Millions tonight.
Was it 104,000, isn't it? Under 4 million, sorry.
104 million.
That is ridiculous. We're always saying about how they should keep 104 million people happy, shouldn't they, really? But we said 1 million's not enough, really.
Well, depends
So
what
maybe if you said 5 million each.
5 million
Go on, do
each.
the maths, Sharon. How many people would that keep happy out of 104?
20?
No
20
idea.
times 5 is 100.
That's very good for you, Sharon.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so 20 very happy people.
Keep more people, have more drawers. I just think, what is the point? Some people would say that'd be ridiculous. I'd love to have that. But you can only, especially at our age, you can only spend a certain amount of money.
You'd never get through that. Because you'd have it in an interest account. You could probably live off the interest for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose that's a situation like that is great. Like myself and you, I've got 4 children, you've got 3. You could split it, give it to them, let them enjoy it now while they're that bit younger. That would be fantastic. But I just still think they should split it. They should split it more, have more happy people.
Yeah,
I mean,
rather than this
I
dream
didn't
of
tell
one
you, did
person.
I won the lottery this week.
Did you? What did you win, Jan?
I won €4.
That's one of your bigger ones.
No, that's one of the lower ones. I've had a 290 and I've had a 480. So 4, yeah.
Fantastic. I am going over the bar later to...
I'm going to get your lottery again.
I'm going to get me a £1 million ticket. Last week I got one number.
Did you? Keep a healthy life without great physical effort.
Right.
Do moderate exercise, basically, and keeping yourself in good shape, and be aware of your medical and physical needs. Keep in touch with your doctor. That sounds funny to me. We're on personal.
Well, we do see her in the chemist sometimes.
Some people do, don't they? They really know their doctors well. And it's to do tests even when you're feeling well and stay informed. Which, being in France, we're very lucky that we do get that, don't we?
Yes.
We do, well, because we've got ordinance, we've got, as in prescriptions, we do see our doctors regularly. So that's...
We do.
And they do regular...
They do regular blood
tests, mammograms,
poo,
and bowel cancer tests.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're very good at doing them sort of tests here. So I feel like we're doing that okay.
And we do moderate physical exercise. The
Yes.
emphasis on the moderate.
Yes, I mean, we try to walk at least twice a week, as most any listeners, regular listeners will know, and we do our chair fit once a week.
Yeah.
Apart from when we don't, but that's when it's holidays, when
Or
our
Val's
instructor's
away,
away or something. So we really miss it though when we don't do it.
Yeah.
And so
Doing
we
the
are aware.
swimming,
It
haven't I,
just shows
once
we
a week.
are aware of our body. We are aware what we need to be doing. It's sometimes quite hard,
Yes.
and we're noticing more now, aches and pains more, and instead of starting to feel our age, which we don't like.
Yeah, I think that's one of the questions here. One of the
Oh,
statements
is it further
here.
down? Right, yeah.
But I think we do look after ourselves moderately. I think I certainly do, and you sometimes worry too much about our weight.
Yeah, and I think that's because having lost some recently, I'm paranoid about, I don't want to put it back on again.
Yes.
Because before I started the diet, I used to say, well, just be happy as you are, and I was.
Yes.
But it was only because I started getting breathless going upstairs that I thought, no, actually, I can't be that complacent. I do want to keep it in check.
I could eat better. I'm a bit carb heavy, and if you'd seen the bar of chocolate that Natalie brought with her last week, I think it was 2 foot long, and that went.
That is wonderful but cruel at the same time.
Seeing as I'm the fattest of the three of us, anyway,
Yeah.
I think I should be more concerned about my health and less concerned about my weight.
But they link up a bit,
They
don't
do,
they?
but then I've had my blood tests, and yes, I'm overweight, but I don't have cholesterol problems. I don't have diabetic problems.
Got the blood pressure problem, which I think is most people have.
But I've had that thin, fat, thin. You know,
Same blood pressure.
I've
Really?
always had blood pressure problems. Probably about 20, 25 years.
Do you know, it's probably about the same for me, and I remember the first time doctor told me I had a problem, and the reason that came to light was because I went to a Chinese doctor. I think it was from acupuncture or some sort of manipulation,
yes.
and she always did blood pressure before she started, and she refused to do it that day because it was so high. And I tell you, I was so scared. I thought, what the hell's happening to me? Because I didn't really understand the implications of high blood pressure at the time, because I must have been late 30s.
Yeah, I was
I
probably
don't
about
know
the
why,
same.
why I didn't know that, I don't know. And so she said, see your doctor, and they did. Yeah, both the doctor and the nurse took it and said it is very high. But what caused that, I have no idea. But since then, I've been on pills. So
I mean, it can be a lot of things. It can be too much caffeine. It can be genetic. It can be stress induced.
yeah, exactly.
It could be lots of things. So it's not necessary. I think the thing we could do a whole podcast on diet and exercise, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Perhaps we add that to the list.
Yeah.
But I think in my mind, I need to separate my
Health and diet.
Yeah, the disappointment in how I look and being healthy. I think it's right to look at my health, and being lighter would help a lot of things. but I concentrate too much on looking in the mirror.
Oh, I do try and avoid that.
And I don't know why. You know, it's not as if I'm thinking I'm never going to attract a man unless I lose some weight. I've got no interest in that. It's all about my perception of myself.
But also, I think most of us prefer to meet a man that's happy for us as we are anyway. What is the point
this is true.
What is the point in losing weight to catch a man? Then you put it back on again, and that's so not
Absolutely.
common, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Duncan only ever mentions my weight if he's worrying about my health. Yeah, but then he's, as we know, he's a skinny rake anyway.
He's a skinny rake.
He still worries about his health and he's skinny. So you know, but yeah, it's an awkward one, isn't it? Because I want to say I don't care, but I don't want to get back to where I was, even though I'm not a lot less. I think it's just because I had the health scare, as it were, with the cancer, that makes me more paranoid, I think.
Yes. Yes.
So it's.
But it is about staying healthy, isn't it? Whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just thinking, because I think both my parents had high blood pressure, I think.
And my mum definitely had high blood pressure. But my mum was a heavy smoker until her 50s, I think. Maybe early 60s she gave up. Yeah.
But doctors still, every time if there's high blood pressure or there's any problems, they will say about your weight, because I mean our doctor, didn't he? Both, because of the trouble with translations and trying to get the point over, the only word he knew was fat. And he told us both on separate occasions,
that we were fat.
Well, you're fat. And I don't think he realised just how bad that sounded, but at the same time he got the point over.
He did get the point over. Yeah. Now our current doctor just looks at my tests, looks at me and looks in surprise. And she's like, oh, your cholesterol's good actually.
Well, also our doctor has also been quite big. I don't know if you knew her when she was big.
No.
And she lost a lot of weight and she looked incredible. And she seems to have, I don't know if I've missed it, but she seems to have kept it off. And so I think because of that, she's my understanding. So when I told her that I'd lost weight, because I thought, I'm going to tell her, even if she doesn't ask me.
Yeah.
And she just, oh, well done. And she just, like, good for keeping it off. Didn't comment on whether I could go any further. She was just pleased that I'd lost that bit.
Yes.
So, I think you just got to keep it in check if you can, which is what we're doing by doing the exercise and everything.
Yes.
So
Yes.
just don't come home and eat
2 foot of
a
chocolate.
huge bar of chocolate. Yeah.
I didn't eat it all on my own. That's worth saying.
Yeah, it is worth saying.
I probably
that.
only had a foot.
Yeah. But yeah, we're not personal friends with the doctor, but we keep in touch because we go regularly.
Yes.
So, But this one, always buy the best, most beautiful items for your significant other. Oh, I must tell him. The key goal is to enjoy your money with your partner, and one day one of you will miss the other, and the money will not provide any comfort then. Enjoy it together. That's exactly what we think. But I'm still waiting for these beautiful items. No, he likes to buy me stuff. If he knows there's something I like, he will. If he because he likes a bargain, he will search and find the best he can for the money.
He does like a review, doesn't he?
He reviews things and everything, and he will try it if he can. You know, he's not reckless with money, but if he knows there's something I would like, he will try and get it.
And he's generous at Christmas and your birthday, isn't he?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And this business about enjoy the money now is exactly what we try to do. As I said earlier, we don't understand why people have money in the bank and then say they haven't got any money. It makes no sense. Enjoy it.
Well, I haven't got a significant other, so I'm reading this as always buy the best for yourself.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Why shouldn't you treat yourself?
One of my goals this year, and I don't think I've started yet, what we've got left, 2/3 of the year, is to buy less rubbish. So buy fewer things, but if you're going to buy something, try to buy something that's worth it.
Yeah, and also it's because at the same time we're both being aware of being wasteful buying, isn't it? That's the thing. That's the same sort of thing. It's it's not spending money needlessly, isn't it? Because
it's
easy to get carried away and just, I like that, get it home and think, what the hell did I buy that for?
Did I need that? Does it fit me? Did I even try it in the shop? No. So there's a lot of that goes on. So I'm trying to do less of that. So if I am spending money, I'm trying to spend it, what's the word, more deliberately, more...
consciously.
mindfully.
Yeah, all those words really.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just rewarding myself.
Well, that's all you can do. And if you really feel you want to be nice to someone, I mean, you probably buy for your kids or the cats.
Yes.
The chickens don't really need anything.
I
much.
did see some high-vis jackets for chickens.
Chickens, yeah.
recently that I was tempted.
But would they appreciate them?
No, and
No.
will it just notify the foxes as to where they
Oh,
are?
that's a good point, yes.
Let's have those two over there with the high-vis jackets.
They obviously
dear.
want to be eaten. Yeah. But yeah, as it says, I mean, one day you'll miss it, one will miss the other. So yeah, it's just that thing about living for today, isn't it? Really?
And enjoy your experiences together,
Yeah.
rather than, you know.
Yeah, it's not just the money, is it, and spending the money, but the money helps you do more, but there's still things you can do without having to spend a load of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's like when we can, Duncan will be up. We'll both be here in the loft. It's our craft loft, I have to say. There's nothing, no dungeon here or anything. And Duncan will be happy doing his trains. I'll be happy sewing. But we're still doing it together, and
Yes.
we like that. So,
Yeah,
it's nice.
that's important.
Yeah.
A lot of couples, especially the longer they're together, lose that.
Yeah.
And just whatever they
and
do, they do
sharing,
it separately.
talking about your crafts
Yeah.
together. Because,
It's
I say
important.
again, I mean, Duncan will always share what I don't necessarily always understand, but we'll talk about what he's doing with his trains and things. I don't actually need anything from my crafts anymore, but at the moment, usually we'll look to try and find it cheap. But I prefer if in some ways he didn't buy me some stuff, because I like the search at the Vid Greniers or something and know that I'm getting a bargain getting what I want.
Yes, we
So
like
that's the
a
thing.
bargain. Right. Shall I read the next
You
one?
can read the next one.
Don't stress over the little things. You've already overcome so much in your life. You have good memories and bad ones, but the important thing is the present. Don't let the past drag you down, and don't let the future frighten you. Feel good in the now. Small issues will soon be forgotten.
That's a good one, that.
I haven't
Yeah.
mastered this yet.
No, but isn't that annoying though, that it's very easy to say don't stress over the little things, but it just happens, doesn't it? And
Yes.
And I suppose it's that anxiety bit, isn't it, about things like anxieties I've developed, which I still blame menopause, that I'd never used to have.
No.
But might be to be going somewhere socially, and I'm thinking, I'd much rather just stay at home.
I think
it's
COVID
easy.
has to take some responsibility for
I
that.
think so.
Because we were isolated from people for quite a long time, and then I think we all underestimated how difficult it would be to go back to how we were before.
I can't even remember that much
Yeah.
about before. It's weird, isn't it? But it's one of those things where it used to be before the war, not for us, but our parents would have said,
Yeah.
with us, it's before COVID.
Exactly. I
It is
think it's had a
bizarre.
huge effect.
It really has, yeah, and it probably will do for a long time. And every time there's any sort of ailment, you think, oh, is this long COVID?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm sure I never, because I keep saying, with both Duncan and I, you sort of think, would certain things keep coming up, like he gets very tired, and I do, and things affect us more. And I think it's very easy to blame it on COVID, but it's probably just our age.
Could be. So.
I mean, Duncan's not got to 60 yet, but he gets tired because of work.
Yeah.
And stressing about little things. What do you call little things?
Yes.
I think Duncan stresses about little things, but again, he's not plus 60. And I always say to him that really isn't that important. Think about the bigger picture sort of thing.
But
I'm
then
trying
some
to think.
people are just stressy and will
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
You know, and Duncan's a worrier. He'll worry if he doesn't think he's got enough money in the bank, and then he'll work hard, and then he'll worry he's got too much work.
But he's worrying about there not being money in the bank to pay bills, not to keep some savings.
Exactly. He's not. He's
Yeah.
not building up his millions.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
yeah. But I still stress over things I've done in the past. What's the point in that?
Yes, because we said that might be a cause of some of your dreams as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose there are some little things I've thought of in the past and wished they hadn't happened and things.
I wish I'd
yeah.
done things differently.
Yeah.
I take a lot
But
of sort of
they always say
personal-
you shouldn't have regrets, but it's unavoidable sometimes.
It is.
Because you can't go back and change it, so it's always going to sit there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I stress over it, but it pops up in my mind
Yeah.
quite often.
Yeah.
the only way I can deal with that is to try and steer other people away from doing the same things, maybe, or steer my children away from doing the same things. But yeah, I don't get involved that much in their lives. To me, they have to learn from their own mistakes. But yeah, they're the only little things, if you want to call them, but stressing over my children really, and stressing over don't stressing. Other than that, and health, I suppose. But then I suppose most people do. I never used to till recently. But
No, and I think that is an age thing. You know, suddenly you're faced with your own mortality, and it's. I mean, you have trouble talking about that. So yeah. But people have their natural stress levels as well. Some people are just more stressy than others. I mean, I've just talked about me mad cleaning because my friends were coming over. I was anxious about it. You know, so yeah. And I didn't.
But like I said though, on the upside is it's now done, and that relieved that stress in a way, didn't it? Because you got it done.
Yes.
And
definitely.
once they turned up, you hadn't got to worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's never going to go away really. We said this the other day. We always tell each other don't stress over it, and we're good at giving that advice, but we don't necessarily listen to our own advice.
Take my advice. I'm not using it.
Exactly. That's a very good one actually. I should get a T-shirt with that on it. Yes.
But it's also good that we talk about it. So years ago, I may have not even said to anyone, I'm really stressed and worried about the girls coming over. I'd have just internalised that. But now I will say it.
Yeah.
Which is a good
Well, that's
thing.
why it is good to have people to talk to, because there's people out there that end up being very ill or on pills because they haven't got anybody to talk to, so we're lucky there.
Yeah.
I mean, like it says here about, you've said about that, and it says don't let the past drag you down, because that's one thing you just got to keep shaking it off and thinking it's done. What you can't do anything
You
about
can't do
it. It's
anything
gone,
about it.
and you've lived through it, sort of thing.
Unless we get one of those time machines.
Times I watch these time machine films, I wish I could do that.
The one I watched the other night, going off subject, was about being able to donate years from your life for money. So some people.
Was it the one with
people-
Justin Timberlake?
No.
Oh.
No, that was another time.
Yeah.
This one, you could say, "Oh, I'm in a lot of debt. I'll sell 15 years to get a lump sum of money," and you could then give your youth to someone else, and you would age 15 years, and they would decrease 15 years.
Oh my God, no!
Yes.
I don't want that. No.
And this woman he actually worked in that industry. They ended up their flat burnt down because she left a candle on, so their insurance didn't pay out, and then he found out that in order to get their mortgage, she had signed up to give 40 years of her life if they couldn't repay on the house. So suddenly, overnight, she went from being
what was that called? Do you remember?
paradise.
I think we might have seen it. It rings
She
a
went
bell
from
now.
being in her early 30s to her early 60s or later.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Clever idea.
Yeah.
But we don't want that, do we?
No, we don't. We're going to end up with another part 1 and part 2 on this. There's so much to talk about. Regardless of age, always keep love alive. Love your partner, love life, love your family, love your neighbour, and remember, a man is not as old as he has intelligence and affection.
It's a nice saying, isn't it?
A man is not as old as long as he... Oh, as long as... So I read that wrong. Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you keep loving people and you keep your mind alive, then you're the younger for it.
That's what reminds me of that saying about love yourself before you love anybody else, and that's quite a hard one, really. Isn't it
is
in some ways.
Hard one.
It's almost a selfish saying, but I think it's important, because if you don't, it must come across to people that, I don't know, do I seem like I don't love myself or something?
No.
I do in lots of ways.
If you depend on other people to provide you with your love of yourself, so you don't think you're beautiful unless someone else says it. See, that's a bad thing, isn't it? You've got to think, well, this is
it's
me.
being needy, isn't it?
Yes.
Needing people to tell you are, and I do think we all do need that, because it's to remind ourselves sometimes. Because you can
reminding yourself, I think, is fine. Getting into a position where you only feel pretty if someone tells you
Mm.
it's not, because you end up in all the wrong relationships.
It's like standing in front of the mirror and telling yourself, yeah, actually, yeah, you look good. Because
Yeah,
you
it's
shouldn't have to keep
important.
waiting for someone to tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I always remember the time when I lost the weight this most recently, and we went to Frank and David's. I can't remember if you were there at that time or not. Walked in and David said to me, "Have you lost weight?" And I said, "Yeah." And I was so chuffed that he'd noticed, because I did feel good and I knew I felt I looked good.
Yes.
So that, yeah, just sometimes that's just reiterating it, really.
And sometimes it's as much the confidence you give off.
Yes, and
as
you don't
anything
realise
else.
it, do
Yeah.
you? You
'Cause
must,
it's
I
making
suppose,
you feel
yeah,
good.
because you, even though we've just been saying about not worrying about your weight and that, if you can lose it and you can do it easily, and it makes you feel good, then yeah, it's a real difficult one.
It is. It is.
What about you, keeping your love alive? You love your cats and you love your parents and you love your kids.
Yes.
There's lots of things to love, really, isn't
Yes, I love
Loving your life and
yeah, and I love the good friends I've made
Mm.
in France. It's really important to me. I love my kids' partners. I think I'm really
yeah, lucky with
very
all
lucky
those.
in that they're
Mm.
all lovely people, and that's important. Yeah,
Mm.
that's important.
Same with me. I've only got 2 that have got partners at the minute, but yeah.
Yeah, they're nice people.
Mm.
Shall I do this one?
Yeah, we'll finish this, then we'll have some lunch and maybe make this part 1, and then we'll do part 2.
God, we talk so much. Be proud both inside and out. Don't stop going to your hair salon or barber, do your nails, go to a dermatologist and the dentist. Keep your perfumes and creams well stocked. When you are well maintained on the outside, it seeps in, making you proud and strong. What do you think about that? I've got mixed feelings about that.
Only because, as usual, a lot of that can involve money again.
It can involve
If you
money.
haven't got
Yeah.
the money to keep yourself looking trim and going to the barber and stuff, it must be difficult for people. I mean, yes, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. What does that mean by inside and out? How do you show that outwardly?
I think a lot
Does
of
it mean the
people,
way you look and feel inside and out?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, as they get older, neglect themselves. So they go, oh, it's no point, whether they've got the money or not, it's no point having my hair cut, or I'll just scrape it back myself, or they stop.
Saying that you're not worth it.
Yeah, I'm too old now, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And partly because we do talk about not wearing makeup and not really wanting to, and I don't,
Mm.
but I still like to have my hair a certain way.
Mm.
And I think as I've got older as well, I've got conscious of, it's so easy to do. Oh, that's for best.
Mm.
I'll only wear that dress for best.
Mm.
I'll only wear that jewellery if I'm going somewhere special. And I think as you get older, you need to stop doing that.
Yeah,
And
because you
think-
deserve to wear it
Yeah,
whenever.
exactly. So, you know.
And I do think us living in the countryside, because we don't save stuff for best as such, because we don't do enough. We're not going off to work to an office. We're not going to really special do's. If you go to anywhere here, everybody's very casual.
Yes.
Even recently, our neighbours just done their christening, the grandchildren's christening, and I was quite surprised that everybody was so casual,
Yes.
because their important bit to them is being there for their grandchildren and not for how they look. I mean, yes, I took Natalie to go and get something, but she wasn't looking for some high-end dress that she had to impress everybody because she was the grandmother.
No.
She just wanted to feel good herself, and
Yes.
and she was really pleased. She said to me that we made a good choice with that skirt. I mean, she got a top as well, but she's really so pleased with the skirt
Because it was unusual for her.
for her, and it made her feel good, and because she felt good, she enjoyed the day. And this is where, that's where it all links up, isn't it?
Yes.
So she was proud of herself, inside and out, for that day. Yeah, I definitely think less. I mean, when I was working, yes, things would be for work. You'd have clothes for work,
Yes,
wouldn't
you
you?
would.
Clothes for being at home, and you'd have, I mean, I'm sure my daughters do as well, and clothes for going out. You know, there's this certain parts of the wardrobe, whereas now practically everything gets worn whenever, because we know that everybody really don't care what we're wearing.
Yeah. I've got this thing about perfume at the moment, so I'm trying to wear perfume most days.
Oh, I always do, yeah.
Because I think, well, what am I saving it for? I want to smell nice today.
Yeah.
So that part of it I understand, and I think you should still have a lot of pride in your how you treat yourself.
Because it makes you feel good.
Yes.
You're not doing it for everybody else.
No. And it is important to keep your skin nice and things like that. And we're not talking big money here. You know,
And we're not talking like us being raving beauties or anything. We're just,
I get a very good moisturiser from Lidl.
yeah. Well, that's what mine always used to be. I've changed slightly, but yeah, no, actually mine's from Aldi this time. But if your skin feels dry and rough, and that can make you feel, I don't know, just horrible. So it's like going to a spa, isn't it? If you can go to a spa and you can make your skin feel good, and with or without makeup, and you can feel good, that's a bonus. I mean, both of us now got a bit of lipstick most of the time, isn't it? We don't really. The only time I might put a bit of cover on my skin is if my rosacea flares up, because I don't like the blotchiness of it.
Yes.
But yeah, generally, I think the importance in makeup just isn't as it was.
Yes.
Because I was on reception and you were facing people every day. You just felt like you should look.
It was an expectation at work, wasn't there, about how you looked? Yeah.
But really, you've been employed for your skills and your brain,
that's
not
what it
for
should
how
be.
you look.
Yeah, that's how it should be, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, it's keep well maintained. I wouldn't say well maintained, but I do like my hair to be brushed, and I do like my skin to be soft, and can't do anything about the wrinkles because
Embrace the wrinkles.
It's part of getting older.
It is.
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose one thing I do try to do is try and stand upright and try and hold my stomach in, things like that, just because I don't want to look like I'm slouching and don't care. But you can't always. You just get on with
Whatever
things.
improves your confidence, and don't save things for this miraculous best.
Because that best might
it's not
never.
miraculous. It's not the right word.
No.
It's for distant. Oh, I'm saving that for
Or
best.
possible best, yeah.
We're going back to the money thing, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's about enjoying what you have now, rather than saving it for something.
I go to shops now and I see some dresses and that, and I think, what is the point? And that's just going to sit in the wardrobe for that possible special occasion that might occur.
No.
But there's no point. And even now, if I do buy anything for an occasion, I'm thinking, well, I'll get that because it's usually separate. Sometimes it'll be a dress, but it'll be the sort of dress I can dress down as well, so I can wear it. Not that it should matter. If I want to wear a fluffy, fancy dress all day long, I can do.
You should do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And perfume, I say, I do try and do moisturise every day, and I do try and wear perfume every day because I just love to wear perfume. I'm very, very much into smells. So if it's a bad smell, I really just do not like it. Last one for this particular podcast. Don't lose sight of fashion trends for your age, but keep your own sense of style, and you've developed your own sense of what looks good on you. Keep it and be proud of it. It's part of who you are. Now, what about you? But I've never been a fashion follower. If I wear anything that's fashionable, it's just by pure coincidence because I just happen to like it.
Yes. Yeah.
I wear what I like and what I'm comfortable in. If it's uncomfortable, I don't see the point in wearing it.
No.
I mean, it's just don't lose sight of fashion trends. Why? Why not? Why have you got to follow fashion?
No, I don't agree with that. And I think sometimes, I think it can go both ways. Sometimes I think that what that's trying to say is if you just carry on wearing what you wore in 1995 and have your hair the same as you've always, that can be,
so don't
that can
look
age,
dated.
Yes, that can age you, I think.
It can, but it still comes back to that thing. Yes, you'll stand out because you're way in the past, but then look how trends come around again.
Yes.
I mean, if you've always wore clothes that were worn in the 80s and they're there, all of a sudden you're in fashion again, aren't you?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
There is that. Yeah. It's about balance again, isn't it? Because I like to know what's going on, and my children are quite young still.
I
like to see
follow
what they're
fashions and stuff, but I sometimes
wouldn't
I
wear
look at it
something.
thinking, what?
Yeah, I wouldn't wear something just because it's fashionable. I will only wear things that I think suit me and are comfortable.
Yeah. And because fashion to me suggests people dictating to us what we should be wearing, and I don't agree with that. I do not like that. I don't like being dictated to, full stop.
You're not a follower of instructions, are you, Joe?
I'm not, no matter what it is.
Whether it's helpful or not.
Yeah. Well, to me, if I didn't follow the instruction and it went wrong, well, that's my fault. Then I've learned that yes, I should have followed that.
Yeah.
I will find my own way around it.
Yeah.
I just hate. I do not want to be dictated to. And I think it's like I've said it a few times. It comes from my dad. He always just said, "Why be a sheep?" You know?
Yes. Yes.
And
I like to look
that's
at
not just
the,
in fashion. Lots of things.
Yeah,
but we're
not only
talking,
clothes-wise though, because I do like watching what we call home decor videos and what people are putting in their houses at the moment. And again, I don't follow that
You're not
religiously.
doing it because they say that's the new trend.
No.
You're doing it because you think it would look good in your house.
Yes, I think, oh, that's a nice idea. Or I like the look of that. That I might not have seen if I hadn't watched that. But I won't, I won't be changing everything in my house just because what I've got at the moment is now out of fashion.
Yeah, because you're not up with everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
I still think it can keep you young.
yeah, it can do. I mean, there's certain things that never really go away, like you're wearing a zip-up sweatshirt. They've just always been there, haven't they? So them sort of things are almost classics. So that's the only time I think it's a good thing to buy certain clothes, is you just know it's going to just stand the test of time.
Yes.
It's always there.
That sometimes involves money again, going back to, I would love a classic wool coat. But one thing, I can't guarantee it's always going to fit me because I'm a yo-yoer. And two, that's probably going to cost me.
Yeah.
So, bit of balance, isn't it?
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because you buy a coat and you think that'll last me donkey's years, and then all of a sudden you're too small or too big for it.
Yes.
It's a bit sad, really. Because then it would involve possibly paying someone to alter it for you or something. I think to some extent, I suppose we end up wearing fashion because it may be that that's all that's available in the shop.
Yes.
If you've got to go and buy something new, otherwise, like now with the upcycling and everything, we're making things live a lot longer.
This is
anyway.
my favourite top at the moment.
It's nice, that favourite colour again, isn't
it's
it?
a big Grenier top. It's from Fat Face, so it was probably a good 30 or 40 euros when it was first in the shop.
Yeah, it's a good sign of a
that.
make, isn't it? If you've bought it at a big Grenier and it's still got a load of wear in it.
Yes.
And the reason that someone's getting rid of it probably is because they've got fed up looking at it because they've worn it for so long. So that's when it's good to invest.
Yeah.
So it's not a follower of fashion, and don't agree with following it. So I don't agree with the first sentence. We've got our own sense of style. I mean, if I see something, if I'm in a shop, I to the extent I'd say that's a Sharon thing.
Yes.
Same as you would go and see. So that's definitely you. That's definitely you.
Yeah.
You just and you don't realise you've done that. Unconsciously, you've got your style without even realising it. It's just because that's what you like to wear.
There are things that you wear which look good on you, which I wouldn't wear.
No.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
And we are very different shapes. You're a lot taller than me.
Yeah.
I'm a lot, I've got width. So, you have to dress accordingly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I do agree with that, having your own sense of style. I mean, it's just it makes you feel individual rather than being a sheep. And wearing what looks good on you is just, I mean, it's a bit daft to wear something that makes you look frumpy or makes you look shorter than you want to be, all that sort of stuff. I do, still have a sense of what you're wearing because you can make yourself look silly otherwise. But again, that's only your opinion, how you feel. If you want to wear it, then you wear it, and basically decide what anybody else thinks.
And, if you've got the confidence to pull something off, you're likely to look good in it because of that.
Yeah, because you feel good in it, and it's like it says, it's a part of who you are. So we'll finish that one there.
Okay, we've still got lots to talk about.
We've still got lots to talk about. So again, we're going to do a part 2 because this is a good discussion. I like this one. So we will say goodbye for now and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.